To give advice and take advice. You know, these people that are fighting for all this justice and all this, whichever side of the aisle you're on, if you're going that much out your way to fight for these causes that really don't even affect you, don't affect your personal life, like what are you running from? You got to be running from something. Your own one day, one action. I could be in his shoes if I don't change myself, and I could be facing a homicide charge if I don't change the way I'm going. You know, it was one action and one event put him in that specific room. Other than that, he was just like a regular guy like you and me. And that scared the hell out of me. We're the thing. But I didn't like when people would tell me to put it on. And that's when I would explode with anger. And I'd be in the middle of Wawa cursing people out. And then that happens a couple of times. And now my girl won't go to the store with me. Holy shit. Like I didn't realize how much that I felt good doing it.
Yeah.
My soul is breaking free. You awaken me, stolen my time to move on. But now I can see seizing destiny. Welcome to my evolution.
Welcome back to the dumbest guy in the room, everybody. The host, Bill McDale. I got my co-host, Eddie Carroll here. Today, I have a very special guest. I'm very excited about this one. You know, we grew up together. We went to school, got in a lot of trouble together. And it's been a long time, man. You know, I always talk shit on like Facebook and Twitter and say like how bad it is, dude, but it also does good, right? Like I get to post these, but I also get to reconnect with people like Gentil. So thanks for coming on, brother. Can you just introduce yourself to the listeners, give a little background of who you are, what you do, and we'll dig deeper into your story, brother.
Yeah, sounds good. My name is Mike Gentil from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Currently, I'm a HVAC installer, technician. That's not what I originated as. Grew up with Bill, grew up with Eddie. Like they said, got in a lot of trouble, had a lot of way too much fun, and thought I could take life the easy way, and thought I knew better constantly until, you know, life really came around and smacked the hell out of me, and finally just had to figure out the right way to do things. And since I started doing the right thing, my life has been nothing but blessings, and it's been incredible since then. I don't have a lot, but I love what I have, and I'm so grateful for it.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Can you let's go back to like the beginning, right? So like I like to look back at our past, and I should say my past, but obviously you were part of my past, and kind of see where we all kind of branched off, right? Because when you look at all of our friends, and me and you we were kind of close. I don't know how close you guys were, but
we were pretty close.
We were kind of close, dude, and then you know, at times we would kind of break apart, and somehow I would always end up hanging out with you again, and then it disappears, right? And it's crazy.
Yeah, all out of nowhere.
Yeah, and one of those times that we hung out, we didn't know it was gonna be the last time we hung out, right? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, crazy to think about.
It is, dude, but it happened, right? And I like to kind of look back and see why. Like, why did I go from me and Eddie sitting in my parents' basement all the time, drinking, getting drunk, dude, think we're having fun and living the best life, to me continuing to drink, dabble in some drugs, and then Eddie just go full head into the drug side.
Yeah.
And like some people, like I had Pat Bryan on. I don't know if you know Pat Bryan. Pat Bryan got huge into fitness, dude. Like the dude's a fitness guru.
Incredible.
So like, but we were all one group. So how in the world, like, where do you think your story started when like what
that branch off happened?
Yeah, at what point do you think you broke off, and why?
I mean, I found at that point in time, I found a priority that was greater than friendship, that was greater than family, that was greater than anything I had going on, and it ended up being drugs. And that's kind of where I dipped off, and it's a selfish way of thinking, but I needed to fulfill my habits more than anything in the world. And you guys, no offense, but nobody around the neighborhood was helping me to do it. And I had to go find ways to do it myself. And just throughout the months, throughout the weeks, throughout the years, it didn't stop for a long time. And, you know, my love of drugs and my love of the fast life took me away from everybody that I was really friendly with.
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody, you guys both, you went down the road with drinking a little bit. Eddie went down the road with drugs, and we all branched off. It seemed like at almost like the same exact time, which is crazy to think about. I mean, I don't know if it was for you two, but like it's just almost like the same time, like right after high school, the next 2-3 years after high school is when I just stopped seeing everybody all together. Anybody I could call a friend at least.
Yeah, dude. You know, I don't know about you, man, but when you look back and you say, I stopped seeing my friends, like, we're like, we really ever friends, right? Like, I look at my friends now as people that want to see me do good.
Yeah.
And I look at my friends as I want them to do good. I don't want to watch you get fucked up and laugh at you. I don't want you to lose your job and think it's funny. I want to tell you when you're fucking up. Like, I want to be honest and be like, yo, dude, you need to start moving, dude. Start doing something. You know, like point out the flaws and not laugh at them. So, like, I think that our group, man, we were all so lost as kids back then, dude, in our thing that, you know, we thought we were all good friends and we would do things for each other. But at the end of the day, we were all kind of very selfish, right?
Yeah,
we all were like that.
To be honest.
I mean, if you think about it, it was like, there has to be like 85% of us all got like messed up into like either alcohol or drugs and have gone to either rehab or got into a program at one point or another. I know a few people that got better with like drugs and alcohol, and then like had like 5 years sober, clean, and went back and started like now they can socially drink. But like a huge numbers from the neighborhoods like of people got like messed up into drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, crazy number. And then is it a coincidence that we all ended up meeting each other and finding each other back then? You know, I think I was lost already. Like a little, not lost, but confused and didn't know what the hell I wanted, seeking attention at the time. And everybody was, it seemed like everybody was kind of on the same page, you know?
Right.
Yeah, dude, I 100% agree with that. That's why 85% of us went down that path, dude, because we all attracted to each other. We were all lost.
Yeah.
We all had our demons that we were dealing with and had no idea who the hell we are. Yeah. I bring this up all the time, man. Like, I talk about pride a lot, and I talk about the negatives of pride in general. And I talk about that because that's what I was filled with back then, dude. I was filled with pride. Like this right here, dude, Parkwood. This is pride.
Oh,
yeah, dude. Oh my God's the right thing to say.
I got it. I got 215 on my chest.
There you go, dude. I got the Philly stuff down on my leg. So like, but what is that of you? Like, what is the 215? Like, what does that make up of you? It's almost like we were searching so hard to, instead of finding ourselves, we decided we were going to define ourselves by something else because it kind of relieves some of that pain that we didn't understand, right? So like Parkwood, for example, I would do what Parkwood wanted to do. I would agree with what Parkwood agreed with. If Parkwood was fighting Somerton, I hate Somerton. Bill McDowell didn't hate anybody from Somerton. I didn't know anybody from Somerton, right, dude? But I hated them. It makes no sense. So I look at like life that way now, and I try to find those things. So for you, do you think that pride or any of that like kind of helped you cope with not knowing who Mike Gentil was at that time?
100%. That was my identity. The Parkwood neighborhood, the Philly, and then when I left Philly for Lancaster, like then I wanted to be the guy from Philly. Like I wanted that to define who I was, and I wanted to be known for the crazy shit that goes on in Philly. And then I tried to live up to that reputation. I always had to prove that I was that guy or do whatever I thought would help someone for satisfy that identification. You know, and I always wanted to be somebody that I wasn't. Like I wasn't a thug. I wasn't a gangster. And like you said, like I drove around Somerton with people in cars looking for kids to beat up, not knowing who the hell anybody there was. It didn't make no sense looking back on it. That's borderline retarded.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know? I
It
can't
really
believe I
is,
did that
dude.
shit.
It 100% is, bro. And I guess like the reason I really like to bring that up because I think that in today's world, it's happening and it's happening at a mass scale
Yeah,
of
yeah,
pride. And people get offended when I say I don't agree with pride because I don't necessarily think it's all bad, right? Like
no,
I think that we should be able to associate.
Yeah.
Like I think we should be able to meet and talk because we have these similarities. The issue
yeah,
lies is when that's the only person you're talking to.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, 100%.
How did you escape it?
Yeah, putting your whole identity into one basket and not finding common differences and similarities with other people is not, that can't be a good thing. Then you're going with the mob mentality, just like we did. You're kind of swayed, whatever they think, you got to think, and you can't find any common ground. And in that case, you can't learn, grow, and experience things from other people either, because you're blind, you're not listening. You
So
automatically tune them out.
what helped you escape that? And I don't like to say I know who Bill McDale is. I know who I am today, but I don't want to be the same person tomorrow, right? I want to be better. Tomorrow I want to be better
Yeah.
than this version of me. So when you look at yourself and you realized, right? At some point you had to realize that this isn't me, this isn't what I want.
Yeah.
So how did you get yourself up and out of that mindset?
To be honest, it was sitting in a jail. I've been to a bunch of different jails, and just sitting in those cells, and specifically Lancaster County Prison is a place where you're doing 22 and 2 in general population. So you're sitting all day long with nothing but your thoughts. And when I would sit there and I look at I'm sitting next to people and eating lunch with people that are fighting homicides. There's rapists walking by, like real bad people and real shitty people in this world. And I know I'm not like one of them, but I'm still sitting eating lunch with them at the same time. So it kind of gave me like, I don't want my life to end up like this. I'm not like these people, and I do not want to be here with them. I got to do something better with myself. I want to be somebody. And really, I really wanted to make my family proud, like, friends and family proud. I wanted to be somebody they could count on, be somebody that can show up, be somebody like, and then I have a bunch of tools. So I want to be somebody that can always, help you with projects. I wanted to be that guy, not just sitting there around those people, though, around those like legit bad people. Like, it made me realize that, hey, I'm not really a badass. I'm not really like one of these people, and I don't want to live with them. I don't want to be like them. I want to be better.
When was the last time? And if you don't feel comfortable answering anything that I'm asking you, dude, just let me know, and not a problem. I can edit this later too. It's not like we're live right now, right? But when's the last time you went to jail?
About three or 4 years ago now. Maybe 3 years or 4 years this September.
Okay.
And
So
it was
so
for a
Eddie was
couple
getting
weeks.
married. Eddie was maybe getting married. We
Yeah.
don't know because he's not sure.
Yeah, we're still not sure.
Sorry, Lenny.
I mean, I got
Snitched email.
so if I'm coming up on 8 years clean, so we married for
They,
6.
yeah,
6 years, man. And
that's amazing.
when you went
And I missed
into
all that.
jail, did you have a I don't know who your significant other is right now, but did you have a significant other, or did you connect with her after the fact?
It was kind of literally right in the middle. I met her, and a week later, I ended up getting locked up. It was a probation violation for a missed appointment. So, like, no new charges or anything extreme, but still, I still didn't do what I was supposed to. I still don't show up to what I was supposed to do, and I had my mom. I was on the jail phone calling my mom to tell her to look her up on Facebook so I could get her number, because I really liked the girl a lot. She was a sweetheart and angel, and I just didn't want her to think I wasn't answering her, like if she was texting or calling me. So that was my original point. At the same time, thinking this girl's never going to talk to me again, but at least I'd have peace of mind that she knows I'm not ignoring, and she, she was pretty calm about it as far as everything goes, and we linked up again after and kind of started our life from there. It was during COVID, so things, that's kind of when my life started.
Your life started when you were born, brother. All of that's a good experience for you, man. I do truly believe that. I think maybe the finding yourself, maybe, right? Like I don't like to, I just personally don't like to look and say, this is when my life turned around. 'Cause I really don't know, like, because all of that stuff that happened to you, brother, like, there had to be a reason that bad stuff happened. You would have never met your significant other had
I don't
you
regret
not
it.
been arrested. You know what I mean? So did she know about your past before you got arrested for the misdemeanor?
She knew I had gotten in trouble, but I don't think she knew all the details about every little thing. But I tried to be fairly open with people when I first meet them. You know, I was on probation at the time, and I do have a history of drugs and things of that nature. And I don't think it'd be fair. Like, I mean, you're right. Like, maybe my life didn't start then, but I tried to, you know, be considerate of others at that time. You know, things might happen, and if it does, like, I'm sorry, type of deal ahead of time. You know, so she was accepting of that, and I'm actually really shocked.
Hey, dude, there's really, like, I can tell you something about my wife.
Yeah.
There's no reason my wife should be with me, dude. Like,
I started talking to my wife when I was in a halfway house when I was talking to her.
No
And
kidding.
like when I like got home, I was down in Florida, she was back in PA. And when we went like on our first date, like I like kind of like broke it down to her and like let her know, like, yo, like this is me, this is who I am, this is my history. And like if for some unforeseen reason I fall back into that, run.
Yeah.
Like get your
my
shit and
stance.
run.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna take you for everything you got.
Yeah. Yep. That's not funny in a funny sense, but that's funny that you thought the same way I did.
Yeah.
You know, I think that shows character, though. At the same time, I think it shows me a weakness, but also character.
Mhm.
It's not easy to do something like that.
Yeah.
and not at all, man. I think the hardest thing for me to ever do was admit that I was that person. Like if I never really been to jail. I've been in a holding cell for a day for aggravated assault charges, but I ended up, it was self-defense. I got, luckily, the judge found me not guilty for self-defense because I was facing like, I think it was 12 years upstate that they wanted to give me. Yeah, it was insane, dude. The huge story. We don't have to get in that, but that's the longest I've ever sat in a cell, was a full day. But looking around and seeing these people that I thought I'm not like them. I'm not like them. The biggest thing for me, dude, that changed everything was when I realized that I am capable of being any of them.
Yeah.
I'm capable of it, dude. I don't know what it would take to get there. And that's what I had to think about. Like, what is it that would make me do that? What would it take for me to kill somebody? What would it take for me to do these things? Because there's something that would get me to do. I never thought I would be an alcoholic and cheating on girls constantly and just not caring about people and fighting my dad and just not like, I never thought I could get there. So if I can get there, why can't I go a step further?
That's
You know what I mean?
the way you said that. I actually, that brings up like I think the real defining point for me was I was in there Lancaster County Prison, and there was a kid in the cell next to me who was like 18 or 19 years old, regular ass kid like me, you, Eddie, just really regular, and he was in there fighting a homicide. But me and him hit it off. You know, we hang out, play cards, eat every day. Like the kid was really cool. You know, I could see him growing up just like me and you. And that's when I realized that the only thing that separates me from him is one day, one action. I could be in his shoes if I don't change myself, and I could be facing a homicide charge if I don't change the way I'm going. You know, it was one action and one event put him in that specific room. Other than that, he was just like a regular guy like you and me. And that scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, man, it's a scary thing when you realize that we're all, and that's why everybody thinks that they're, for the most part, I feel like most people think that they or they're innocent. Like they think they're good. Like they do something wrong, but we can justify so easily why we're not wrong and why somebody else
Yeah.
like hurt, like a victim mentality. It's so easy to get sucked into it because I genuinely believe that 95% of the population is a good person. They have good intentions. It's just that their intentions might not be matching mine. They have a different experience. Like, for example, you lived a whole different life than me you have different experiences, dude. So you're going to see the world differently than I do.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. I do. But I want everybody to do good. And I love what I'm hearing from you. Let me ask you this, dude. When you got out of jail and you talked to, or even when you were in jail and you were talking to your girl, did you ever ask her what she thought when your mom texted or found her on Facebook and told her you were in jail? Like what she actually felt about that?
She was happy, to be honest with you, that I went the extra mile to have my mom contact her through Facebook. I think it showed her that I mean, at the time I couldn't say cared about her because I really kind of just met her, but I really liked the girl. Like, she was
something there.
What was that?
There was something there that you couldn't really
exactly.
figure out.
That's a good way to put it. Yes.
Cause that's kind of crazy, dude. Like I couldn't imagine, like meeting a girl and then a week later, her mom or dad texting me and being like, "Hey, I don't know if you remember, Kirsten, but she just got arrested. She's in jail."
Yeah.
Like it'd be kind of weird. Yeah. I'd be like, "What the hell is going on?" That's why I asked if she knew your parents. So what are you doing now to stay on the straight and narrow? Are you doing anything now that are you going to meetings? Are you like, what is it that you're doing to keep yourself from going back to being on the street?
Well, I haven't been to a meeting in a long time. I used to do them when I was living in South Philly, but right now I don't know exactly, nothing specific. I'm just trying to be a better person every day, trying to live up to high standards for my family, and not just my girl and that family, but I got a niece now, and my sister needs help with the house all the time, or my dad needs help. He's getting older. So I just every day try to just be a very good person. Like I love the 10 Commandments. I love living by that. And I think, love thy neighbor, love thy family, all that. I guess it's more of a religious train of thought than anything. I really want to follow in the footsteps. I think the 10 Commandments are like a blueprint to being like, if everybody followed them, you can't be a bad person, right? And
I agree with you, dude. I think that I don't think that I'm not the type of person. I don't go to me. I went to meetings maybe for my first year of sobriety. I've been sober now it's July, so 6 years. I don't know what day this month, but one day this month it's been 6 years. But I think the first year, maybe 2 years, I was going to meetings a lot, and they saved my life. So I'm not saying that I didn't need, like, if I didn't have them, I would have never found God. I would have never got back to that point. But I think people can get sober other ways. I think people can stay sober other ways. So I'm not saying that you need to. I'm not telling you. I'm just asking how you're doing it, and it seems like you're trying to stay busy and using the Bible as like your mentor, and like reminding yourself, like, how do you do it? Do you have somebody you talk to about things? I guess, like, for me, I need somebody that I can really communicate with, and not in the beginning, not my wife. Like I needed other men.
Need somebody from an outside standpoint, kind of.
Do you have that? Like, do you have?
I mean, the guy I work with is kind of like my outlet. I bounce ideas off him. I talk to him, and he gives me honest feedback. At least it seems like it's honest feedback of when I'm being an asshole, when I need to apologize, what I could have did better. And you know, a lot of times I bounce ideas off him or tell him what the hell I did and what went down and how right I was and how wrong somebody else was. And then when he puts it from a different perspective, I was wrong. And I've ended up apologizing to a lot of people, especially a neighbor and me when I first moved up here and kept getting into it over little things. My dog pooped in his yard. I was picking it up. So I wasn't leaving it, but he still came out screaming, shoveling snow. Well, shoveling snow, and it was getting too close to his driveway. He comes out screaming. Of course, I'm screaming back at him, you know. One of the days, I'm talking to the guy I work with, and he's telling me that, like, you know, maybe you should just, you know, go up and talk to the guy sometime. You know, see what his deal is. Maybe he's angry just like you, or maybe he's frustrated about something. And I pulled up one day, and when he was out front, offered him, said, "I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm about to buy a coffee. You want one?" And he said, "No, thank you." But ever since then, me and him have been, you know, the relationship's totally changed. Turns out he's a pastor, or deacon, I'm sorry. And he goes to do like last rites for people. And he's real big into the religious community. So now when I see him walking the dogs and when I see him in general, I end up having like a half-hour conversation with him. And I learned so much from the guy. It's incredible, just from letting my pride down for a little bit, he said pride. My pride was too high. Once I let that drop for a little bit, I learned something from the guy.
Yeah. It's a good story, dude. It is a really good story. Did you ever have like a neighbor that like anybody that you really, I feel like Eddie's a very calm, cool, like always been.
I'm like
Never
very
heard
laid back, man.
Yeah.
I just not really, no, like neighbor wise, nah.
I never seen you like lose it ever.
I try not to.
Not that I know of.
But I do, like, when I get angry, like, a lot of times, like, I'll either stuff it and eventually explode, or like especially like my wife keeps me grounded. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, she'll kind of just like, yo, like, you're freaking out of control right now. Like, take a minute, and then like I'll go take a minute, and then I'll like kind of like do like a quick like reflection and like, what triggered me, like what's put me in this position to get so angry, and then like realize that like it was over something stupid and like meaningless that like really doesn't affect my life whatsoever in like the grand scheme of things. And then like I do that pretty consistently, like at work. Like, instead of getting like pissed off, like this past week, we were supposed to finish a job on Friday. Now it's running into, I think they got us on the schedule until Tuesday. It should have been done last week. But the first day, material was missing. They didn't order us the scissor lifts. Like, the scissor lifts, I don't think came until freaking Wednesday. So like, it was just like one thing after another. And like, instead of getting like pissed off about it, it's just kind of like, it is what it is. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. And
that was all out of your
it's
control.
not my problem. It's not my fault. So I kind of just let it go instead of getting like pissed off. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is this company doing? Like, they got to get their shit together. Like, I just kind of like, all right, it is what it is, man. Like, it happens. Miscommunication, whatever the case may be. It's like, and you just kind of do what you can in that time and make it work.
Yeah. Do the best you can with what you have.
Yeah.
It's hard in the moment, though.
Yeah.
That's the key, dude. Like, that's what I feel like when you know how, like, one thing I got into like motivational people, and I got into it for a little bit, like self-help stuff. I think it's good. The problem with a lot of that stuff, man, is they pretend like that's how they are 24/7. Where like they're giving you these things that are good and they will help you. The problem is they don't remind you that they still have that in the moment moments. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I really don't know. And maybe it is achievable, right? Maybe it's just I haven't achieved it yet. And I'm okay with that. But I feel like recognizing the fact that you do have the in the moment thing where you are down on yourself, or you're angry, or I snap, and I do those things. It happens, but it's learning from that to make it happen a little less.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I want it to happen a little less than it's happening. And one of the ways I do that, man, is I feel like, and I don't know about you guys, dude, but what I see is the things that irritate me about other people. Like when I get irritated at somebody else doing something, it's typically because I see myself in them. So
Yeah.
like they're doing something that I don't like about myself. So when I learned that, I started to be able to change a lot faster because it's like I can watch people, and once I feel irritated, maybe I react anger, whatever. I give that initial reaction, but I can quickly look at it and be like, man, this is what irritated me. Am I doing that?
Right.
Yeah.
And then I start to see myself actually doing the same thing they're doing, and I'm able to start pulling it back a little bit and not do that thing. And that's why, for me, dude, that's why I think me and my parents had such a rough relationship, because I am my parents and I hate it myself. So I would look at them and see me, and and we didn't get along until I started to accept myself. Now, do you see that at all? Like, am I crazy, or is that
No,
like,
I mean, I definitely get what you're saying.
I might be, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so like for me, like I've learned like over the years of like being like in the program and stuff, like I learned like how to like reflect pretty quickly on like my actions. Like yesterday, I'm trying to put the kids, he got one of those like drivable car things. So I'm putting it together. He just got it for his birthday, and he's picking up the tires, he's throwing the tires, he's jumping in the car when it's not done. Like I kind of like snapped because he's like throwing washers around, and I like yelled at him, and then like quickly, like I'm just like, he's a kid,
He's a
man.
kid.
He's a kid. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Like it's my fault I didn't do it during while he was napping. It's my fault that I didn't close the garage door because I wanted him to like be able to come and go as he pleases, and like I shouldn't have put them in his reach. So like I had to like pick him up, like apologize to him because like he gets upset when I yell at him, and like because he doesn't understand. He's only 2, and so like I was able to like quickly like reflect on like, dude, like what are you doing? Like it's not his fault. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And like he's excited. He sees his car. He knows it's for him. So like he just wants to get in and go, even though it's in pieces right now. I had to put it together. Like he doesn't understand that. So like I had to like pick him up and like kind of apologize, and like even though he probably doesn't even understand that, but like I think he can feel the emotion. He can feel like,
definitely. You can see it in
you
your
know what I'm
face, see it in
saying?
your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I've learned to be able to like realize quickly, like when I get angry or if I get upset about something, first off, like why am I getting upset? What part did I play in it? And then like either apologize or talk it out with somebody.
Yep.
Whether it's that person or with somebody else.
Yeah. Whether it's that person or somebody else, exactly right. Even if it's not that person, the other person you talk to can bring it to your attention that you were you were out of line, you know, and that helps you self-reflect also.
Yeah.
And dude, I think that's
talk to that person anyway.
I love that you say that, dude. I think what I love about what you said, man, is the fact that you were able to take the criticism when how long did you know the guy you worked with before he like gave you that type of advice?
About 2 years.
So like to be able to take that in and not snap on him is bigger, is way bigger than you actually going and doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because most of the time if you go to somebody like, dude, this dude, we keep fighting too, like and they turn around and they're like, because this is what most people would say to you anyways, like, you know, or they either just go along with you and they feed into it. So they're egging you on, they're making you feel right. So they're just, they keep in your echo chamber because they want you to fail. Or they'll be like, yeah, dude's and then they're leaving probably saying it's this dude's fault. But for somebody to sit there and start questioning it and being like, well, you know, maybe he's going through something, maybe this, maybe that. And for you to be like, maybe you're right. Maybe he is going through something, and then doing it.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's huge, bro.
I don't know
Huge.
I don't even know what made me possess it, but that one action or made me possessed me to do it in the moment because I was angry at him at that moment that I pulled up
Yeah.
on him. You know, but that one action, doing that one thing and the way it changed our whole relationship and the way like it just changed so much in my life. It made me that opened the door. Doing that one thing opened the door. Not that I do it all the time, but I do it when I recognize it now, or I do it.
Right.
It made me feel good. I hope it made him feel good. It seems like it, and we're really polar opposites. Like I mean, he's an older black guy, very nice gentleman, but like we couldn't be on more opposite sides of the spectrum. And now we'll sit out there and hang out, bullshit, and help each other out all the time. It's hilarious how that works.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever like sat down and talked about your disagreements and like figured out like maybe why you were freaking out at each other?
Yeah, well, yeah, he actually used to be a alcoholic. He was an alcoholic younger. I think he is about 20 years sober now. But
Still an
for the few
alcoholic.
of us, what was that?
Still an alcoholic, man. We all got the same traits.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he said. You know, even though I've had 20 years, I still got my issues.
Yeah.
And anger seems to be the same one we have in common. And pride, you know, like I'm like a pissing contest type of deal. We both explode. We both got to get louder than each other, prove each other wrong, and just you know, that seems to be the common trait is anger.
It's because I feel like it's like the easiest emotion to express.
Yeah,
It's easy to yell at somebody or like hit somebody, whatever. Like that's the easy one. To and then I would say like happiness, but then like especially as like a man, like expressing sadness or expressing like emotion or empathy in like certain areas is like difficult because like our pride and ego kind of like gets in the way a little bit. And you gotta kind of take a step back and realize like maybe it's not about me. Maybe
yeah,
it's
no,
about
you're
my
right.
kids. Maybe it's about my wife. Like I have to
Yeah,
express these emotions to them or to her or whoever to let them know like you understand where they're coming from. You can feel their pain. You can connect with them.
yeah, that's you're 100% on point. Like you know, anger is the easiest one by far to express, and it makes you it kind of validates you as a man, makes you feel good immediately. It's like a drug. It's instant gratification, you know. But putting yourself vulnerable, telling somebody how you feel, and listening and taking in the information they give back is extremely difficult. And my girl stopped going with me to stores during COVID when COVID first started because with the mask situation. And I would wear the thing, but I didn't like when people would tell me to put it on. And that's when I would explode with anger. And I'd be in the middle of Wawa cursing people out. And then that happens a couple of times. And now my girl won't go to the store with me. Holy shit. Like I didn't realize how much that I felt good doing it. You know, I didn't realize how much that affected her.
Yeah.
You know what, man? I can it was me, dude. Well, it was sort of like me because I feel like I didn't wear the mask at all, and I stopped being told to wear the mask because I walked in with that much confidence that I wasn't putting one on.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious, dude. It came to a point where like I would never, nobody would tell me to put one on because I literally would. When I first started it, I would walk in and I'd walk into the store and I'd kind of like look away from the guy that is supposed to tell you. And then I got to a point where like I'm walking in and I'm looking him dead in the eye and I'm going and I wouldn't wear it. And I had to reflect on it a lot because I was always like, why don't I want to wear it? Am I not wearing it because I don't like being told what to do? Am I not wearing, like, what is my reasoning behind this? Am I doing it for me? Am I doing it for everybody? And why am I doing this? Like, why don't I just do it? You know what I mean? Like, it's really not that big of an hassle. And for me, my old man passed away during COVID from pancreatic cancer. And he, when he was in hospice and in hospitals throughout this, right? So my son, what really got me was on his birthday. they wouldn't let my son in the hospital to see him because he wasn't 18.
Wow,
And
that's
from that day forward was the last time that I followed any COVID rule. And
yeah,
that did it for me because I don't think that I just didn't think I didn't think people should not be able to see their family. And I
no,
thought that wearing a mask in Wawa was part of it, right? Like I know it, people look at me like I'm nuts. Like, no, dude, that's Wawa. No, it's all the same thing. It's no different. These rules are universal, and if we keep doing it, this is what happens. We now
yeah,
I can't see my dad, and my dad and my son were like best friends. So
that's
like
great.
it was hard, dude.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's exactly what I fear is something like that. My grandmother was in the nursing home at the time. She's still alive, but like I felt like going down that road of following these rules and letting people who don't even know us, don't even know our stories, dictate what I can or can't do. My family is dangerous. It's not. That's horrible what you went through, and there was no reason for that.
Yeah, it was I did do that just to watch I did like so many people would walk in to the hospital and I'd watch them be told they can't go up and they would just say, "Why? Are you serious?" And then turn around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are we so like why? Like there's 10 of us just what in the last 10 minutes just did like there's gotta be hundreds of us. Right? Like there's got to be hundreds of us, and why aren't we all here right now, trying to make a difference? Like, why are you doing this to people? But so for me, dude, it was all about that. Like I lost my job, I got fired because I wouldn't wear the mask. I was a bank manager. I wouldn't wear the mask. I wouldn't tell people to come in. I wouldn't tell them to put a mask on. And all my employees at the time hated Donald Trump. So they're like immediately, I don't have a mask on. And they're like, you're a Trump guy. So they reported me to HR every single day. Every day I got written up, and I was like, you know what?
Trump guy, you're all these other instant phobes that they just assume automatically too.
Exactly. And it was all women in the branch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, dude, like I still don't look at that situation as I was being picked on. And I think I should have gotten fired. I think I knew that I was going to get fired.
Yeah. Yeah. Going in.
But I knew that was the consequence of what my actions were going to be. So for anybody, when people are like, I got fired because I stood up for this or stood up for that, and it's like, no, you got fired because you made that decision to do this. Yeah. You did it. You got yourself fired. I made the decisions I made knowing this is a possible consequence, but I'm willing to take it because I'm going to do what I believe in over money. Right. What I believe, exactly. I did what I believed in. I wasn't going outside of that just for a paycheck. Yeah. Right. Like I wasn't going to do it. And I know most people couldn't do that. Right. And that's why people were listening to all the rules because they can't afford that. They can't do that. So I was like, I'm going to do it because I know most people can't. And at the time I could. It probably got me nowhere. I don't know who it helped or, I don't think they released the mask mandate for me. I don't think. But I did what I believed in, and I can sleep with myself at night knowing, and that's what matters, right? Like I'm not going to bed at night regretting it. Right? I'm not. I don't. And that's what I try to do for the most part is with everything in life is like if I believe in something and I think it's important to me, I'm gonna do it as long as it's not harming other people.
That's
like
right. That's good.
I'm not out to harm anybody, but I don't know, man, just looking back on everything, bro, like it's kind of crazy how you have a very similar story and we haven't seen each other in a long time, right?
Yeah.
Let me back up again. Do you have, was there like a really, I guess it's cliche, but a rock bottom time? Like, was there a time that you really were like down on your luck? Like, did you do something? Were you stuck somewhere? Was like, is there something out there that might be able to help somebody else by, You
There
know,
wasn't, I mean, there wasn't a specific time that I could call a rock bottom. It seems like rock bottom got drug out for years. For me, it was more of somebody opened up a door and I saw the light type of deal. Like I felt like I was always at the bottom and finally saw the light. And from that point on, move forward. Like God, you know, I mean, to be honest, my girl giving me a chance was kind of the light. Like, well, somebody has faith in me. Somebody thinks that I could do it. Somebody actually trusts me. And my thing was, I'm not gonna let her down. Like I can't. I'm gonna prove to myself I can do it. I want to make my family proud. So it was more like given the opportunity, because when you're struggling and when you're moving from room to room in Philly or jail to jail or fucking a homeless shelter, there was no motivation to do well. I didn't have anything to look forward to every day. Like I do well for a little bit, which well is, you know, it's an objective term, but like I'd come home to an empty room with nothing every night. Like there was no reason. I had no reason to live, kind of deal. And her giving me the chance gave me kind of a reason to really try. Like give somebody like I want to be good for somebody else too. I want to make somebody else happy, and it gave me the motivation to try to make somebody happy, and then in turn made myself happy doing it. You know, but my motivation kind of started with outside source, not necessarily for myself, which is, I don't know if that's weird or not, but it gave me a start.
I think we all need a spark.
Yeah.
I don't know, but to tell you the truth, man, like my spark was definitely my wife, right? Like I'm with you with the same thing.
Same.
And my wife was never like, you need to, you have to.
Yeah.
It was never any of that. It was always like, and I guess I'm kind of grateful. It's kind of sad to say, but she has a lot of family that, do you know Wilby?
Yeah, he lived up in Normandy.
Yeah, I married his little sister.
Oh, no kidding, dude.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell.
They don't look alike, dude. They don't look alike. And he definitely hid her from us. I don't know. Did you ever meet her?
No.
Yeah,
probably for a reason.
Me neither, dude. Didn't know he had a sister. He's got 3 of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so anyway, so her brother obviously had his issues, and she had one of her uncles actually runs a what do you call them houses?
Halfway house?
Is that what you call them when you like a sober house or whatever?
Yeah.
Sober house,
So he has one. He has one of them because he got sober for when he was younger. He opened up one of them houses in Delaware. So she was very familiar with addiction and alcoholism, where my family is more like we're alcoholics and we're all not going to talk about it. And whoever is an alcoholic, we'll just talk about them when we get home. And you know what I mean? Like, but my family was so close. I'm so grateful for that. Like my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, like we were so close, dude. Like we're still close to this day. And I'm so grateful for that because like my wife, they're not, like her family's not that close. They're she has half sisters, all of that. And I'm like, it's crazy to me that like somebody from like, it took somebody with that perspective to open my eyes to it and just constantly be like, hey, did you ever think of going to AA? And I'd be like, hey, dude, I'm not shooting dope. I'm literally not shooting dope. I don't need that. And then when I finally went for the first time, I went there to learn to drink. You know, like I thought I could go there. Like I see the guys outside and I'm like, if you drive by an AA meeting, you especially, what the hell was the one called on, what was that one called right on, like Frankfurt and Commonish, I believe.
Life or Death?
Life or Death. You drive by Life or Death, dude, like those dudes look like they're drinking beer out front of the thing. Like they don't look like they're sober.
Well, there's
a bar right next to it. Right. But but that's what Life or Death really was. There's people in there that were fucked up, like got fucked up and came in there. But so I thought, okay, these guys know they're learning how to drink. I'm gonna go and learn how to do it the right way. That didn't work, obviously, and I did end up getting sober. But when I decided to get sober, and I actually called Fat Dan randomly, dude. Like we were sitting outside. I was not having a bad day. I didn't have a bad week. Me and my wife were just sitting out there drinking Twisted Teas, and I said, I'm going to text Dan. I'm going to go to AA this time. I'm going to do it. And I texted him, and he was literally like, I'll pick you up at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I got a big book meeting.
Shit.
And right there, I was like, fuck, why'd I do this? You know what I mean? But I also think that he knew that I was going to say that.
Mhm.
And that's why he said,
that's
I'll
why
be
he
there at
jumped
9
on the
o'clock
gun.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then, dude, like Dan saved my life. I owe him so much. I text him randomly all the time, telling him, dude, I'm here because of you. Like without you, I wouldn't be here. And he'd always be like, nah, dude, he's such a humble dude. I love Dan.
Dude,
Yeah.
as crazy as it sounds, I stopped seeing Fat Dan like right after high school. Literally, when he got better, I stopped seeing him. But I always saw him on Facebook. I always saw him doing well. And even though he doesn't know it, he was an inspiration to show
Yeah,
that
Just so many people,
you can
dude.
do it.
Yeah.
You know?
What was he probably do? 19
He
maybe?
was young.
Yeah.
He was young.
And never went back. Never looked back,
Yeah.
dude. For him to
his
cut
life got
off
better.
all of us. He just
Yeah.
cut
Yeah,
everybody off. And dude, I remember like, especially like, I'm not gonna say his name, but especially like some people would text him some fucking mean shit. Like, fuck you, Dan, you ain't coming around. Fuck you. He took that. Like, he had to listen to everybody do that to him. And the dude stayed away. I don't like to do that at 19 years old blows my goddamn mind.
Especially how not deep in the game he was, but about how like he was getting banged up, you know.
Yeah,
and,
dude.
if not like just as bad, if not as the rest of us. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine doing it. Like I said, even though he doesn't know it, like I mean, I can't be the only one that saw him doing well and thought he was an inspiration throughout the years. Like not even once,
Right.
twice, just throughout the years. Like I was always like, damn, Fat Dan did it. Like I know I could do it.
It's crazy, dude. Like, you know, but the same goes for you, right? Like, you don't know the impact you don't understand the impact that you have on other people when you're doing things. Like, he never talked to Mike Gentil and said, hey, dude, maybe you should get sober, do this.
Nah,
He just
Yeah.
did it. He did it. He got sober, right? And people saw it.
Yeah.
And that right there, dude, changed so many people's lives that they might not even know that he's the reason that they got sober. He's the one that you might never even put it 2 and 2 together, but he played a part in it just because he did it. Not because he told other people what to do, not because of any of that. Just simply because he did it. That's it.
Yeah. And admiring his life and admiring his courage is what made it, you know, like that. It's incredible to think about how many people he's really affected just by doing that.
Yeah.
It's the truth, bro. I never even, like, this is the first time that I thought all these things, you brought it up. I didn't realize that, honestly, but it's so true.
Yeah.
So true, dude. It really is. And that's awesome
Yeah.
that you bring that up and you can actually look back and think that maybe you were in jail or whatever, and Fat Dan's name popped in your head and you're like, damn, I could do it. He did it. You know, like,
he did it, and his life is amazing. Like I gotta try. I gotta give it a real shot.
I hope what goals do you have, man? You said you have in the beginning of this when we were talking, you're like, hey, I don't have much, dude, but I love what I do have, and I'm still trying to get better. Do you have like, do you have a goal you're trying to accomplish?
Oh yeah.
What is it that you're trying to do?
I tried last year. I enjoy what I do for work. I do heating, air conditioning, mostly installs. But about a year and a half ago, I got together and I got licensed by the state of New Jersey, and was trying to start my own business. And I had 2 guys I worked with that kind of led full circle, like one service guy and another older guy who was doing installs for the past 40 years. So we were an ace team. But my goal ultimately is to start my own business and be successful. It didn't work out. It worked out for a while, but our one buddy, he was a recovering addict and he passed away. You know, he went back one more time and passed away. And then the other guy had 2 kids and didn't want to take the step. When we were busy enough to where he had, I quit my job to do it 100%. And when it was time for him to do it, because we were too busy, he has 2 kids. He just didn't feel comfortable taking the step, which I was mad at him at the time, but I totally understand now.
Yeah.
But like it's possible. Anyway, that's my goal to start that and have kids. We're trying to have kids, and I hope God blesses us with that. And we foster dogs to try to save as many dogs as we can. You know, sometimes it's a zoo in here, but always helping family. Like, it's just so much just to be to make up for the lost time, I guess, and to be be a good person, you know. But I want to do HVAC. I want to have my own company. That's like my main goal.
And that takes some courage, man. Dude, it gets weirder and weirder every time you freaking speak. I tried to start my own business when I got fired, dude. It's fucking
Oh shit.
yeah. I filed it. I had it going. It was for financial coaching. Created my whole this whole website. I had everything I really needed to do until it came time to do. Right.
Oh,
So it was so hard for me. And I'll tell you why it was so hard for me was because financial coaching, my background's in finances, investment planning, and banking.
wow. Yeah.
And that's where I got fired from. And I never really fully embrace that culture for a while until I saw what I was really doing to people. When I was the top salesman all the time, doing things that I was basically manipulated to believe is good for these people, right? I didn't really fully understand it. And I don't think you really can fully understand it until you have the experience.
Yeah.
So that it's not only having the experience myself, but the more people I talk to, the more experience I'm taking in as well, right? So when I'm having conversations with people, I'm learning about their experience, which is giving me more experience as long as I'm listening.
Yeah.
So by doing that is when I finally realized maybe I thought I was doing the right thing for everybody, right? It was when I realized that I wasn't actually they weren't top of mind. The sale was always top of mind.
Yes.
And I was just connecting
what's good
dots
for the company over the person, but
right.
But I know that at the time.
I didn't. So then when I realized it, I kind of fell off, dude, because I wouldn't sell anything. And then I found my way. I found out how to do it. I found the way that I was able to do better than what I was doing. And then that's when I started to get licensed, and I made it all the way to branch manager. I had my own branch because I was doing it in a way that I felt morally okay with myself every day.
Yeah,
and I loved it. And I loved it because I was terrible with money.
Yeah.
But so when I started this business, my issue was the people I wanted to help were people without money. So how do I charge these people? What do I charge them?
Yeah, how can you, in the kindness of your heart or in your heart, feel good about doing that?
Right, and I know I need to make a living, correct?
Yeah,
I have to feed my family, so I have to make money. But I just couldn't find that balance because that's what big businesses are good at. Finding that balance to where people don't notice that it's happening. They're just doing their job.
You know, I'm sorry, I got a question for you then, because I do this to myself all the time, like with neighbors and recommendations. People recommend me to do work, you know, the AC is broken. I get there and I know in my heart that it really wasn't a big deal for me to do it. It might be like 20 degrees out and I fixed their heater and I end up not charging them anything, even though I spent 3 hours there, and I do it all the time. Like I can't find it. I can't find a middle ground to feel good about. Like, I'm just happy they got their heat on, you know?
Yeah.
At the same time, my family needs to eat too. And what number do I tell them?
So I can't give you a number.
No, not a specific number, but how do you?
You need to find like a base rate for like across the board for everybody, like for calls like that, like that's like your service call. Yeah. So like even if it's something like stupid easy that it's going to take you like 20 minutes or like 3 hours, whatever, but it's like something simple that you can do. You got to find like a base rate that like you can just charge as like a service call, as long as you're not like having to like use like a bunch of material from your truck, then like that obviously the rate would increase. But like if you could find like a base rate that seems reasonable across the board, I think that would help.
My reasonable rate is like all these companies and all the companies I work for, my rate that I think is fair is probably like a quarter of what any other company charges. So it's you know, it's people telling me I'm selling myself short all the time and all this, that, and the third, but I still do it. I feel good about myself though. You know, I used a $15 part. I was there for a half hour. I'm not going to charge them $500. I'm going to charge them, $50.
And then you get home and you're feeling good. And
The
then
bills roll in.
and then
And then
something
and
happens
then
where
we're
you get
late
a
on
bill,
something.
and that's when you start thinking about, man, why do I keep giving people this for free? And then on top of it, nobody's doing it for you. And that's how,
Yeah.
right? And that's why people like you get taken advantage of so easily.
That's what it
Because you
seems like.
are, but what happens, man, is from my perspective is you can completely flip sides, because you're gonna be you can go from doing everything for free to doing everything for extra cost, or not doing it at all for them.
Yeah.
And that's because that's what we all we don't have that balance, right?
Yeah.
But my recommendation to you is follow your heart. Follow your heart. But when you're following your heart, make sure that your family's in there too.
Yeah. You're 100% right. That's a better way to think about it. Instead of thinking
Because
about it for me, it's really
not
not
just
for
you too, like the person that you're talking to that might be giving you a sob story or whatever, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think keeping in mind when it's happening, I need to put food on the table too. You don't have to say that, but like that needs to be part of your, okay, I'm going to charge you this. I need to put food on the table too. And
Yeah.
I am worth this. This was my time. I gave it to you. And you got to remember too, man, most people are just trying to get over on you. So that sob story, that whole thing, dude, like that they just want to get over on you, because those same people are the people that are a victim to everything.
Yeah.
Right. So you can also look at it that way,
No,
which
you're right.
helped
You're
me.
100%.
Which helped me too, is that victim mentality that they're giving me. I'm not helping them if I'm treating them like they are the victim still. The only way I can really help them is if I do. I'm trying to put this in good words here and not sound like an asshole, because some people do have it hard, right? But what I mean is there's so many people out there that everything that happens to them is not their fault, and that they need help, and you need to help them, and they guilt trip, they make you feel guilty, and you do it, right? But that person that's doing that is probably doing it all the time, and they're getting it all the time. That's why they're doing it.
And that's why they're still doing it.
And their life's not going to get any better. So to figure out a way to ask for money, to still charge, to do something to not participate in their victim mentality is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, you are helping them, even though you're not. And don't get me wrong, bro. This is hard for me to do, but that's the only way that now I sell insurance.
Okay.
So I need to feed my family. Right? I'm not going to give you a product you don't need, but I'm not going to I'm not playing into like little things. My family's on the top of mind. This product is good for you, and I'm going to ask you about it. You know what I mean? Like things like that. So
throw your family into the mix of your train of thought versus whatever I'm almost distracted by their problems, all their problems. I forget about mine because I want to help them now, and I forget that I got problems too.
And also ask yourself, are you really trying to help them, or are you trying to forget about yours?
Definitely both. Yeah. Am I trying to make myself feel better? And forget about my life for a little bit, that's probably
because I found that I do that. I found that I was doing that a lot too, where when I get myself involved in other people's problems that I have no business being in, just to avoid my problems, and it looks like I'm trying to help them, and I am probably helping them, but what I'm really doing is avoiding mine.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I'm not acting like I'm just doing everything for everybody else until the house crumbles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a very, very valid point.
So I think when it's happening, maybe ask yourself that too. Like, am I? And you might not know I don't know the answer most of the time. I don't know which one it is. I don't know, but I know it's a possibility that I'm doing this because I'm trying to avoid my problems. And I think that's, if you think about a lot of people that involve themselves in a lot of other people's problems and I'm fighting for this and that and this and that. It's just because they don't want to take on their personal problems. They want to take on world problems, and they haven't taken on their own yet.
Well, it's easier to give advice than take advice. These people that are fighting for all this justice and all this, whichever side of the aisle you're on, if you're going that much out your way to fight for these causes that really don't even affect you and don't affect your personal life, like, what are you running from? You got to be running from something in your own life that can't be healthy.
I did it, dude. I did it. I was there for a good year or so. I was on that MAGA train.
Yeah.
I was chewing on that MAGA train, and I wasn't intentionally doing it. I didn't fully embrace him or anything he was really doing. It started with me questioning people that hated him as to why they hate him, to the questions I was asking them. Other people saw that loved Trump that started to listen to me. And then when people started to listen to me, I subconsciously started to get worse and worse because people were listening to me, and it just wasn't healthy all around.
It's almost like boosting your ego.
Right. And it happens quickly.
Yeah.
When people start becoming your echo. Right.
Yeah.
Like, when people start becoming your echo, it's so easy to keep going down that path. And I just think that, like, that's why I started this podcast, was to talk to people, have conversations with people, and not attack them or tell you you're wrong or right. And I always get into the more personal things, like your responsibility in the situation, and the consequences, your consequences. So what are you going to face if you do make this decision? Not what is this entire world going to have to face?
Yeah.
Can you put your head down at night knowing that you did something like that, or that you're going to do this? Or, because you brought up a great point with Dan. Dan did not tell you what to do. Dan was not talking to you. He wasn't giving you any advice whatsoever. It was his actions. That made you do that's it. He didn't have to tell you anything, man. Right. So sometimes it's more of, what are you just doing, and just do. So just be that person. Instead of trying to tell the world to be what you think is the perfect world, we just need to do it and do it and actually
lead
do
by
it.
example.
Yeah.
And
And it's so hard.
You might not know who sees it. Could be a complete stranger in the store. It could be
anybody.
You have no idea. Yeah, it could be such a major influence on their life, even a minor influence, but those minor influences snowball, and it could potentially, just by doing the right thing, as corny as it sounds, one day at a time, trying to be the better person every day, trying to better yourself every day, and just do the right thing. Like, it doesn't matter which side of the aisle thinks it's right or which side thinks it's wrong, but as long as it's morally, your moral compass is pointing north, and you're trying your best. I think that's a great start. At least you'll never get to the finish line, but you'll be always progressing forward.
That's right, dude. Your morals, right? Like, I said it in the last podcast I did with the guy I had on, that I didn't necessarily agree with a lot of what he was saying, but who am I to tell him he's wrong? I'm not. I'm in no place to tell the dude that I think you're wrong. But, like, I think that for me, I know when I'm right and wrong when I go to bed at night. When I go to bed at night and I put my head down, what I did wrong is in there, and it's happening, and I'm alone, and I'm the one that has to deal with it, not you. So when I do things, I'm not going to do the wrong thing because everybody else is doing the wrong thing. because all of you are going home at night. And I believe this, that you're all going home at night and you're doing the same thing I'm doing. But then when we get up and we're together, we don't have to realize that it was bad because now we all think it's good. But then we go back home and we lay down and we're like, maybe that wasn't good. And you're all alone. You're all alone again, man. And now can you live with it? Can you live with it?
Yeah. Every night you run through, at least I do, I run through my day or run through even the week even, but of things that I should have handled that better. I should have this better. I just throughout the day on my daily routine. So I don't think about it one bit, but it's not till at night when I lay down that it really starts, you start playing things back in your head.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, half the time I forget all about it. But my goal is to try to remember those things. Try to remember it, like what kept me up a little bit last night, and to try to notice it next time it comes up, or apologize to somebody, which I have to do fairly often. But it's getting easier the more I do it.
Yeah, it does. It gets a little easier. Sometimes I think it gets easier to like do apologies and things, but what it gets harder to do is, it was hard to admit I was wrong at things early.
Yeah.
But I do think it gets I think it gets harder now. Like it's harder now for me to see where I'm wrong now, where I'm at. Why? I don't know. I just feel like I went through a very long span of seeing a lot of wrong to not necessarily, I don't know, because and maybe honestly it's because I don't know if I'm right either. Like I'm not, I maybe that's why. Maybe it's because I don't think I'm right, but I don't think I'm right. Like I don't have it absolute. I'm not absolutely right. I don't think I'm absolutely right anymore, where I used to think I was absolutely right and there's no way I'm wrong. So maybe that's why maybe that's why it's harder for me to say I'm wrong, because I won't even say I'm right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So maybe that is it, man.
Yeah, you don't know if you were right or wrong 100%. It's hard. And like I'm right there with you. Like I know, like the crazy stuff I say and my crazy ideas, I don't think they're 100% right. And even the stuff I think is morally good, morally justified, am I really right? Is that the right thing to do?
Exactly. And it eats you up after you do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because then he's like, was I right? Was I wrong? But when I started to get that was when I was like, you know what? If I'm sitting here having to figure out if I'm right or wrong for saying that, let me ask myself this: how did this benefit me by doing that? And if I can't find a benefit, I'm like, I need to stop doing that.
Yeah. Was there any benefit to saying that, even though you feel like you were right, you were 100% in the right? If it gave you no benefit, it's almost like you're just doing it for pride or satisfaction. You're just trying to prove a point.
Right. I'm like, and look at me. Look what I just said that.
Yeah.
I said it. And then you get an echo chamber because there's going to be people that agree with you and and it feels likes and all that bullshit. And I don't care about none of that. And I still do it. Like, when I say these things, just like the people that are constantly saying with the self-motivation, self-help stuff, I'm not saying I'm not flawed. Like I still do these things, people. I still do them. It's just trying to recognize it and do it less. That's kind of the key. And there's things that are out there that a lot of the things that we're worried about today as a society really are insane, if you ask me.
It's like I follow, like I that's where I came back to this point of, like, the 10 Commandments seem like the guidebook to, love thy neighbor, respect your parents, the basic little things, that seems to be in my mind as of now, unless, there's stuff I'm missing, but worrying about which bathroom you're going to use or what pronoun you're going to use, or if this person's mask on doesn't really seem relevant. Are you holding the door for the guy behind you in line? Are you saying please and thank you to the cashier? Like little things add up, and that kind of, those little things make, I think they deter. I don't know. I noticed when people don't do it, like when somebody doesn't hold the door for the person behind them, and I think, well, that person's living in, not living in sin, but that guy's kind of a dick.
You know what but you know what, dude? I used to do that too. I try my hardest not to judge other people, and I feel less judged by doing it. So the less I judge other people, the less I feel judged.
That makes sense.
Right. So like if I'm calling that guy a piece of shit for not holding the door or whatever, it was because I am afraid to be called a piece of shit for not opening the door, not because I wanted to open the door.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I want to do it because I want to open the door for you. I want to be that person. I don't want to just not be the person that's not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, like that aspect of like stuff like that, I feel like it's just like common decency to like hold the door for somebody, especially if they got like their hands full or something like that. Like I feel like it's just like what you're supposed to do as like a person is like to treat another person.
Yeah. You know what I want to do, man? Are you interested in doing at least one book review with us?
Me?
Yeah, you want to do like at least one series of it?
Oh,
I'm gonna
Yeah,
pick a
I'd love
book.
to, man.
I'm gonna pick a book that I think we're all that you'll really enjoy. It'll be multiple, probably 3 or 4 episodes though, because maybe even more. It's a very good book. Do you know who Jordan Peterson is?
Of course, yeah. I really respect what he has to say. He seems like he's coming from a base point of view and not partisan to either side. He gets labeled partisan, but he seems like he's kind of straightforward.
Yeah, you know, I find myself questioning him more now because I do feel like I do like now, like himself now. I think he used to not be all over. He used to not be famous. So like this dude got famous after being a college professor in his like 60s. You know, like that's a lot to just become a global name.
Well, it was
overnight.
relatively quickly too.
That's what I mean. So like imagine being 60 and a college professor and then becoming a global sensation. I think that is going to play a part in the things you say and do, and you're going to say and do things that sometimes just trigger attention. Like he tweeted
the last recent things.
Well, he tweeted out a thing with the swimsuit model for Sports Illustrated, and he's like, "This is not beautiful." Right.
That goes back to your question of how did that benefit you? How does that benefit you? It didn't.
Right. And how many people? How many people are out there right now on Twitter saying, "Look at that fat thing"? Look, there's probably millions of that. I don't need Jordan Peterson. This intellect that I look for like these deep thoughts to be telling me that's, and she was beautiful. She was just a big girl.
Yeah.
But that's where I get into that. Like he did that because he gets attacked so much from that side that they might do something simple like that where he's reacting. So I just started to question. It's not that I love what he still says a lot of times, but I still look at it like he could easily make a lot of people do things that he wouldn't have done 5 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm just careful. But he wrote a book called 12 Rules for Life. And I'm going to talk to Mike and see if he's down to read that book because it changed my life. That's the book that changed my life.
Is it an older book by him?
Yeah. So he just came out with a new one. That's the anecdote it's called Beyond Order. He has the 12 Rules for Life was before that. And then one before that, which I have over there too, is Maps of Meaning, which is a deep book. So like, I won't do that to you, but the 12 Rules for Life is simplified. It's very detailed. Don't get like it's a big book, but it's life changing.
Okay, and I'm 100% on board. I'm always into learning more, just expanding my own knowledge, my own looking at self-reflection on myself too. That talking to you guys is great for that. Like I never thought about half the questions that you asked. I never really personally thought about myself, and vice versa. Like the stuff I hear you guys say, I went through you changed my perspective on a lot.
And you changed mine today, dude, just by having this conversation for it. That's what happens. That's the benefit of having a conversation. One of Jordan Peterson's rules in that book is when you are talking to somebody, even if you don't agree with them or whatever it may be, like you go into every conversation with the intention that that person you're about to talk to knows something that you don't know that you should know, no
Well,
matter
that's
what it
everybody.
is.
Yeah,
What's that?
everybody knows something that I don't know. You could learn off everybody just by having a conversation.
Exactly, dude. So why aren't we having conversations? Why are we on Twitter and Facebook talking on no context with just words? Like, why won't people talk? I invite so many people on this podcast, brother. I'm
You get a lot
messaging
of people
people. They don't deny, they won't answer, they won't come on. So, like your post that you made, that's the kind of post I look for. And that's who I ask to come on. I look for posts that are very triggering an emotion of people. And I go in and I start messaging, hey, because that's the person I want to talk to. I want to talk to people that have that are passionate about something that I think is worth talking about and actually having a conversation. Does that make sense? But I grew up with you and I was way more interested in hearing your story than I was to talk about that. Like,
yeah. I'm surprised when you first contacted me. I thought we were going to go down that route, but I this is great. This is even better. This is healthier.
And we can always come back and have a conversation about that if you'd like. But I'm way more into people's experience than like something like that. Like even the abortion stuff. Like I'm not really all into that. I really don't have that big of an opinion on it. I think it's important to have a conversation about it though.
Oh, 100%.
Right. So
but to dedicate your life to it and spaz out over it's not healthy.
Exactly. That's my point. So like if you watch that podcast, I was upset with myself a few times, not really, for just things that I was like I should have, asked more about. But that's why I like these conversations too, because I can go watch this a year from now and I can say, damn, I could have said this and that and this. I learned more from rewatching my episodes about myself than anything because I have 40 out, maybe more than that now, of conversation in the last year.
The questions you ask, and like you just said, the questions you think about you should have asked, you can do it down the road. You can do it on the next one.
Exactly. That's the point, right? Like I'm never fully satisfied with an episode because I'm like, damn, I could have did this. I should have did that. I could have. So I always just kind of post it and I rewatch it and I learn from it and it'll come up again.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love what you're doing. I love that Eddie's down there with you. That's so cool to see.
Yeah, man.
I can't believe you're both married with kids. Unbelievable. I missed all of that.
I only have
guys.
I only have 3, man.
You only have 3?
That's it, dude.
Jeez, dude. I still got you beat with dogs, but you're taking.
I told you she doesn't look like her brother, bro. She got me trapped.
Yeah. That's. Oh God! Thank God.
I got lucky, dude. I got lucky, man. I'm blessed. I got a beautiful wife that is absolutely got the best heart of any human being I've ever met in my life. I don't know how. I didn't know that kind of person exists. I got very lucky. I don't know what.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
God was like, hey, here you go, Bill. But he did, or she did, or it did, whatever you want to call it, whatever pronoun God is.
It was, to be honest, I think of it as it was an opportunity for you, though. Like you did it too.
I did, man. I know, but my wife, dude, I'll give credit to constantly because it's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, same here. Like without her, I have no idea where the fuck I'd be.
I hear you, brother. Is there anything else you want to share before we get off? Man. I don't even know how long this one's been. I love these fucking conversations about just talking.
Yeah.
Forever. You have anything else you want to share before we get off here?
Nothing specific, nothing that comes to mind directly. Just I'm very, very happy to get back in touch with you. So very, very happy to see what you're doing and to see you and Eddie are doing well down there. Like that's incredible. It's almost like the Fat Dan thing. Like it's just good to see people that are just like me do well. Yeah. It gives you faith, it gives you courage, it gives you strength, and that's incredible.
That's the point, man. That's the goal. That is the goal, man. I really appreciate all the kind words, man. I do. But I'm no better or worse than you are, man. We're all where we are, right? And we're all just try to get better. Don't look don't look like I don't look at people and try to say I'm trying to catch that. I don't want to catch that. I just want to be better than what's behind me.
I don't want anything you guys have. I just want to be more.
No, you don't.
You know,
Trust me.
you know what I mean. Like, no, I want what you have. But how do I word it?
I just want you to know that, like, the problems that you have, I still have the same problems. It's just learning how to deal with them. That's all. I just feel like a lot of times people are like, my life's so good. I'm sober, married, get this, that, and third. And it's not all that good all the time. I just get to experience happiness a little bit more. And actually, when I am experiencing happiness, I get to be in the moment for that happiness. That's the only difference. But all the bad shit that happens, I still go through the bad shit. It's all still there. So when people are dealing with hard shit, don't look at the person that you think is doing great as if they're not struggling at times, because I guarantee they are. You know?
Yeah. Sometimes I question whether the ones on Facebook and Twitter that have the best life ever on Facebook and Twitter.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah. I question that shit.
It's
like, you can't tell me that your life's great 24/7. Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. And go but by doing that, man, you do a little test of your own. Go scroll through yours.
Yeah.
Look at how many. I tell my wife all the time, dude, we'll be out somewhere and she'll be like, smile, Liam. And I'll be like, we're creating fake memories here.
Yeah.
The picture's gonna look like we were happy.
Right.
You're yelling at them. You know what I mean?
You're
like
yelling at me. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the pictures are like deceiving almost, because it's like we recreated that and we're not gonna I remember it because I'm always saying it. But you know, it's the truth, dude. It's the dead honest truth. We all do it. I see it. You see people doing it all the time. So just keep your head up, brother. You have inspired me more than you're gonna know, dude, just by coming on here. This is not easy, dude. This is not easy. It's not easy having a conversation. It's not. It's courageous, and it's always a good time, though, man. I hope you enjoyed it.
Good. I had a blast. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. And anybody listening here, man, you know, reach out to somebody, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You DM me. You got Mike here. You got Eddie. Yep. Just reach out. You know, more than willing to have a conversation and you know, help you get through whatever it is that you need to get through. But there is going to be some responsibility on yourself as well to actually put that in motion, as you could hear from you know, Mike here. So if you like what you heard here and you want to be a guest, you can go ahead and DM me, or go ahead and you know, catch our next episode by hitting the subscribe button, like the video, and if you hated it, you can still comment and just let me know why you hated it, and I'll reflect on it. But thank you. Thanks for tuning in, Mike. Especially thanks for coming in, brother.
Thank you, bud.
I will message you.
Good seeing you.
You too, man. I'll message you my number and everything, dude. We'll connect. All right.
That's awesome. Yeah, can't wait.
All right, brother. Have a good night, man. Tell your wife I said hi.
We'll do. You do the same.
All right, bro. See you later. All right, man.
All right. Bye, guys.
See you.
Myself, you better run like hell. Stuck in the flames of my soul, and when I'm out of myself, you better pray for help.